Hello, and thanks for joining me for this look into connected management groups with System Center 2012 Operations Manager. My name is Pete Zerger. I'm a managing principal consultant at Infront Consulting Group, as well as a Microsoft MVP in the System Center Cloud and Data Center Management category. You'll find me participating in the community and blogging over at SystemCenterCentral.com and on Twitter at PZerger. So let's get started. So a connected management group is a mechanism in Operations Manager that allows us to present monitoring data from multiple management groups in a single Operations Manager console. So in our fictional example here, we have management groups A and B, which are completely separate management groups, their own operational and data warehouse databases, and we'll roll those into a single console into what we call a local management group. Uh, so it's important to know that that local management group is the only place where we're going to see data from multiple management group sources. So I can do that a couple of different ways. So I could create a dedicated local management group simply to service those administrators and operators that have need to view data from multiple management groups. At the same time, I could use management group A to serve as my local management group and roll up data from management group B into that same console, or vice versa. It really comes down to a capacity decision often in that case. Um, so what exactly can we see is probably the most frequent question I get. And honestly, what you're going to see basically are alerts. It's all about rolling up the monitoring data. And it's not duplicating the data. What's happening across these connections from connected to local management groups, or if we're going from A to B directly, is that we're going to present the alerts through SDK communication between our management groups. It's not a duplication of those alerts in the database across those groups. But it's going to provide us a single view into those alerts. We'll be able to launch tasks. When we highlight those alerts, we'll launch tasks at the target of those monitored targets. Permissions permitting, of course. And from an administrative perspective, this will give us some capability to investigate root cause, and of course we can run reports against these management groups as well. Particularly if we're sharing a data warehouse, we can share up to 4 management groups into a single data warehouse if we like. It's important for me to mention a couple of things. Number one, if we were to use a dedicated local management group as I have pictured here, users from management group A and management group B would have no visibility into one another's data from their own consoles. The only people who will see the monitoring data from both groups will be those who are viewing a console in the what we call the local management group. And we can limit visibility using the role-based access control in Operations Manager. And in fact, if we don't have trust between the environments, we can use pass-through authentication to make this happen in the background. So why don't we jump over into the console, and I'll show you how to set this up. And I want to give you just a couple of tips for how to make this a better experience, make this a more effective solution. So whilst I am connecting to my management groups here, once I authenticate, I'm going to be launched into management group A here in my case, which is the SCOM1 server, as you'll see here in just a moment. And you'll see my console's rendering here, and I have data from the management group MG_OM12, as you can see at the top of my console here, and you'll notice my active alert count is 78. So to configure a connected management group, we're going to go down to the administration workspace in our operations console, and up near the top you'll see a connected management groups node. Now over on the right hand side in the navigation pane, you'll see the add management group option. Now I have a second management group which is named MG_OM12_2, so very similar to the first one. and my management server over there is SCOM2. I'm going to go ahead and provide my credentials over to that environment, and these will be SDK or administrator credentials in that environment. Now in this case I actually have two domains named Contoso, and I wanted to do that just to point out that we can have like named entities in our connected management group. So if we have servers that have common names and so forth, as long as those are separated in other respects from a DNS and Active Directory perspective, Ops Manager doesn't care in a connected scenario about duplicate server names. That's going to be absolutely fine for us to deal with. So if I look at my active alerts view now, you'll notice up at the top of my console here I have a new little button, so to speak, called Show Connected Alerts. And you can see right now I've got 76 active alerts spread across the critical, warning, and informational severities. Now when I click that Show Connected Alerts, I'm going to get a prompt to authenticate to that connected management group. You can imagine that's going to be easier if we provide permissions into those groups using an account we're familiar with, so we don't have to remember credentials multiple times. Now once I've connected into that management group, you're going to notice that my active alert count jumped from 76 up to 97 very, very quickly, because now we're looking at alerts from multiple management groups. Now this can be a little bit disconcerting potentially, but you can always sort the data by the management group name. So you'll notice when I scroll over to the right here, I see the management group name out to the right-hand side. I actually created a custom alerts view here just so I could give you a tip for how you make that a little bit easier in the long run. What I did here in the properties of this alert view on the display tab was check the box to add the management group property, which will allow us to sort those alerts. Now what I'm going to do is move that up a little bit more prominently to the left in my console, so I can more quickly sort that out. In this case, I actually have servers with like names across these two management groups, unique servers from different environments. So that management group designator is really going to be my only sure indicator of which management group I'm dealing with. But pretty handily here, you see I didn't do anything all that significant here. You see it was quite fast to set up these connected management groups, so it doesn't take much longer than what I did for you right there. And then of course, as I mentioned with the role-based security, we can go in and carve that up a little more granular, at a slightly more granular level, and limit visibility there if we need to. And if I just do a quick sort on management groups here, once I hit that connected alert button, you're going to see that two management groups now appear in the same console. And I'll scroll down to the bottom here where you'll see the management group number 2. Now if I were to just do a quick search on that management group column, since I've added it, I can pretty quickly sort this out to just one of my connected management groups if I like. So it's pretty easy to filter the data if you wish, once you've actually made the connection between the two groups. So just remember, and you'll notice here that I have some like names, and if I search on the name, that management group indicator is going to be my key to making sure that this is a comfortable administrative experience for everyone involved. And that is how we set up a connected management group in Operations Manager 2012. So that's a quick look. If you need in-depth System Center training on Operations Manager or any of the other components of the System Center 2012 family, visit us over at infrontconsulting.com and click on our training page. Again, my name is Pete Zerger. Visit me at systemcentercentral.com with any questions, and thanks for your time.